blah 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 blah
where we belong. Yes.
One, two, three, four, can be alive. Broadcasting, you watching the show. Hey everyone.
Oh, where's our thing?
What thing?
Here's the thing.
Hey, there's a thing.
Hey, I feel severely emotionally unprepared to do a show right now.
What does that mean? Talk about what that means.
It's usually
Brian.
right before we're like, oh, we're gonna go on.
It's because we were really prepared.
Yeah, we're really prepared, and it's all
which
fucking
messed
weird.
it up.
We were really prepared, but then there was absolutely no build-up going on.
Yeah,
And
well, we were playing some really slow music, you know?
Yeah,
it was all really slow.
But I've also been pounding Dr. Pepper all night during Magic Mondays here at the Monkey Palace, where
Magic Mondays, magic.
Get the fuck up. We play Magic the Gathering here at the Monkey Palace. That's a new thing on Mondays. So Mondays, between that and this show, it's just the best day, not only to be here, but to be alive in general. Because even if you're not here or watching that show or playing Magic, then your life is just better because we're putting so much good vibes into the cosmos. Magic Man.
We only have one guest right now, so hello, one guest.
Hey, guy.
I hope you are doing well out there on your own, not in this chilly basement with us. You got a space here pointed directly at you, and not anywhere
it doesn't
near me.
feel that warm, though. It did, and now it's like...
Well, it's because it's not pointing at you anymore because I turned it. There, now it's pointing at both of us.
Whatever, I don't care.
Now it's getting double teamed.
I don't care. Let's talk about the news.
Well, let's talk first not about so much the news, but what the main news was the past couple of days. So, we live in Boston, which is in Massachusetts, which is in the northeastern...
Yeah, see, that's on the schedule, but it's down there and it's pointing up there. I know
of the United States of America.
A state is basically, it's a sub-governing body within a larger governing body. They are not city-states. There are cities actually within the states. They're collections of cities, and each one has a capital city.
There are also towns.
There are towns, and there's just...
And municipalities.
And there's just tracts of countryside, too, owned by either the state
and then every so often, there's a pocket of land owned by no one at all, and actually contains a black hole that's sucking and then governed land into it.
Then sometimes there's land governed by the larger government that the states fall under, and then sometimes there's embassies that are land run by other governments and they're officially part of, like, there's
a different country.
And then
I used to put my finger in China. I'd go to China and put my finger in it.
And then there's the Catholic Church owns land that is officially part of the Vatican, and that actually officially makes the Vatican the largest country on the planet.
No, that's not how that works.
But anyway, I'm just realizing now as we go how fucked up this is.
No, but that land that's owned by the Catholic Church is still part of the United States. It's not like every Catholic church is its own little part of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's confusing. I just decided.
No, I'm just telling you that it's not confusing.
So anyway, shut up. We're in here in the Northeast in Boston.
Northeast quadrant.
And it snowed.
It snowed a lot.
It snowed a lot. And I've lived here my whole life, and I've seen some storms, and this was kind of the best one I've ever seen. It was awesome. And we're even south of the Charles River, and even Cambridge didn't get as bad as we did.
Yeah.
Central Massachusetts got even more snow.
Pounded. They got like 6 more inches than us. Jerks.
Yeah. But it was really cool, and I walked outside in the storm several times. I was out at like 3 in the morning. I went down to Jamaica Pond. We went out on Sunday and walked around and watched people trying to get up, and there's still people shoving themselves out. There's still businesses closed.
Still cars just locked into parking spaces.
They just started running the T again today.
Yeah.
It's total madness out there, and you know how much I like total madness.
Madness! Yeah, so that happened, but now everything's okay. Clearly we got to the Monkey Palace, so we weren't completely snowed in.
I got wet on the way here. This big
Did
puddles.
you fall?
No, I almost fell.
I'm glad you didn't fall.
Thanks.
Brian was throwing snow-melting bombs onto the roof earlier, which we both thought were like super high-tech, cool, like you throw it and then like part of it dissolves and like gases
Our landlord
spill out
was
and
like, we got ice bombs, and then she sends our neighbor up with literally just paper sandwich bags full of
salt.
full of rock salt
to throw onto the roof so the bags will dissolve.
That is...
Which isn't really going to work, Tanya. I'm sorry. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, it's
not
going to
work out.
melt one little spot really well if it comes out of the bag.
Anyway, so it snowed a lot, and now we're moving past that because it's raining. It rained today, and everything's gross, and it's going to be icy.
Yeah, it's shit.
I was throwing snowballs at the streetlight earlier, and that was really fun.
Mm-hmm. I did some of that on the walk home.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard with the backpack on.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's very hard. Yeah. Anyway, so news. News.
We have, for the first time since, like, the 1400s or something, the 1500s.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. Hang on, I have that.
An ex-pope in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's actually here at the Monkey Palace, in spirit, because the Pope is everywhere.
Let's sing him a little song. You ready?
Yep. Ex-Pope, you used to be the Pope, and now you're not anymore. Why'd you stop being the Pope? I bet it was really awesome, and you got lots of money, and you probably got fucking lots of food. So why'd you stop, Pope?
That was an awesome song.
Pope Ratzinger.
Stop pressing buttons.
His Pope name was Benedict
Pope
something.
Benedict the 16th.
But
I'd choose if I were gonna be chosen as the next Pope, they put out that white smoke and they're like Sam McCracken is the next Pope.
I have convoked you.
I'm gonna shut up, Pope.
Pope Sparky.
I'm gonna choose a totally new name like Pope Kronos or Pope something awesome like that.
Pope McCracken, and it would
Pope McCracken. Stop. Press pause.
I call him Pope Ratzinger because that's his real name, and it's way cooler and way more evil sounding, which is more befitting to him.
Yeah.
Because as if being the Pope didn't make you evil enough, he's evil on top of that.
The first papal resignation in 600 years. Mm-hmm. And that was the only other pope to resign, Pope Gregory XII, back in 1415, amid a schism with the church.
And so anyway, Ratzinger, he stopped being Benedict, went back to being plain old Ratzinger.
Yeah.
And he went back to Germany to die.
And it seems he's doing it for health because he started when he was 77. He's one of the oldest popes to ever get pope chosen. And now he's 85. And it's been 8 years, and that's a long time. And he's old now. And he was old to begin with, so... But the one thing we saw, which is the real truth about why this is so sad, don't you dare pretend to ejaculate with that.
I wasn't gonna.
I think that you were.
I actually wasn't,
right.
Believe it or not.
Anyway, the thing we saw online today was 8 years, and now we can't have any more hilarious Sith jokes.
Yeah, they had one last one of him like waving goodbye, and that was like,
yeah,
goodbye, Pope Palpatine.
Goodbye, Palpatine.
That's what you should do. You should
throw yourself down the energy shaft.
You should just be Pope Palpatine.
I should be Pope Palpatine. Yeah.
You know what you should do, Sam? You should try and be the first person to be President of the United States and the Pope. That's gonna
and
be
Pope. That's gonna be me.
Not at the same time.
Space Pope. Can I be Space Pope now?
Anyway, ex-Pope.
So yeah, pooped Pope. The Pope has been pooped, and now he's done.
And okay, in
similarly
oddly similar news, they found the bones of King Henry the
King George the Third.
King George the Third.
This was about a week ago. We missed this on. Actually, it happened just after last week's show that we didn't have. But anyway, they found the bones of King Richard III.
Did we forget to promote this show?
No, I did it, but nobody's watching because nobody likes us. Also, I said it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, they found the blah 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 bones. That's what I was going to say. The bones of King Richard III. And this isn't particularly interesting. King Richard wasn't a very cool king for any reason. Like, he's not that special guy. He went to war with the Scots, and I'm pretty sure it was in this war that he was killed in battle. He was the last British king to be killed in battle, English king to be killed in battle. Mm-hmm. They found his bones on the battlefield and did some DNA junk, and they were like, "Yep, that's King Richard III."
Yep,
and that's pretty much it. That's really all it was. It's just cool because they found the bones in the place where he died. So that's kind of neat.
Now, the royal family is how long has that lineage been going on? Because
a very long time.
Yeah. Okay, but he's still a great whatever grandpappy.
I mean, yeah, probably. Like I don't remember, but yes.
Okay.
Ideally.
Okay.
Technically.
That's cool. I was curious.
But they can't like test his DNA and the current queen's DNA and be like.
And make a super king.
Make a baby with the two DNAs.
They'll make like an uber royal abomination.
Yeah. Speaking of royal abominations, there's no more news on the Kate Middleton potential twin pregnant monster baby.
I really hope that they're conjoined twins.
Oh my god, I hope so! A boy and a girl!
And we have a conjoined... Well, that doesn't work like
that.
that.
What if it did, though? Let's say it was conjoined twins, and the female came out first, so then it was still like, okay, but which one is it going to be? Because he still succeeds, even though he's younger, but they're the same person!
I think I want to be identical twins. I want to be a two-headed prince.
Yeah,
and then awesome. Rule and have the two-headed king, the two-headed giant king.
And they'd go to war with each other.
Yeah.
One would become the new king of Scotland, and the other one would be king of England, and they'd go to war and they'd just stand on the wall. And
they'd kill each other because England would go to war with the Scots, and then they'd find their bones some 300 or 400 years later.
Be like, what the fuck is this? Who's this monster?
We're pretty sure that this two-headed person is the former king, but let's DNA test first.
What if she actually gave birth to, like, an alligator?
Or
a camel, and we had a camel for a prince.
Norway had a dog for a king once.
Really?
Yeah, that happened.
It's not the worst idea.
So I think it would be like that, you know?
That'd be awesome.
Norway's still fine.
Still going strong.
Here's some stuff that I don't really have the facts on right now. Because I'm dumb. But Sam's going to look it up. Monsanto. We talk about Monsanto, the mega evil agricultural corporation who genetically engineer seeds. And they love suing people. And
it's not the genetically engineered part that's bad. It's the suing people and running normal farmers.
Well, because what I've heard before is that they sue people for germinating. Their seeds will germinate. Their crops will germinate, grow on other people's land. They're not even planting them there. And then they say, you stole our plant. It's on your land. Apparently, the other thing that happens is that they have a specific soybean that they grow, and if you are farming soybeans, those beans that you're selling as soybeans are also the seeds to plant new soybeans. But you're not allowed to do that with these special Monsanto beans because they have
special beans.
Yeah, that's stealing according to them. So you have to buy new ones, and you can't keep any of the ones. But apparently what people do for farming, what farmers have been doing for a long time, is they go to a grain elevator and they get junk seeds. Now, it turns out that some of these junk seeds, a lot of them have, just because things are circulating, a lot of these junk seeds are now the special Monsanto seeds.
Yeah.
So without knowing it, they buy junk seeds, plant them, the Monsanto goes and tests them and say, that's our plant, you grew without buying it for us, and then they sue you. So this fucking guy,
Bowman.
He's 75 years old.
He's lived on that farm. He's been farming the same plot of land for 4 decades.
Yeah. That's awesome. And he farms soybeans. And Monsanto's suing him for buying unbeknownst to him, buying descendants of their seeds from a grain elevator. And that's obviously complete bullshit. And they're suing him, and he appealed and got all the way to the Supreme Court. So we're going to have to see how that happens. But someone is fighting back against Monsanto, and that's always cool.
Yeah, people are constantly fighting against Monsanto, but this time, yeah, it got all the way to the Supreme Court. The 75-year-old dude got all the way to the Supreme Court. And, of course, that's where it's really going to fall apart, because Monsanto, gives buyouts to many, many people that have influence over the Supreme Court.
But so much of the Supreme Court is about, public opinion.
And
who the hell is going to side? Who in the public is going to be like, whoa, you 75-year-old farmer, what the fuck are you doing in that corporation?
Yeah.
Leave them a stone steal from them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Anyway, moving on. We got some quick local news I want to talk about.
It's not local.
It's not local.
Do you have this local? Oh, yeah. Do you want to do this local? This
do that
first?
Do that first. Yeah, well, y'all know about the cop who went postal in Los Angeles.
We're going to touch on this real quick because it's a huge topic that we could talk about for a long time.
And,
but it's also really sad, so we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't like to report on bad news because you hear plenty of that, but this is interesting, and I'm not going to... People are leaning either to say, shit, cop went postal, or people are saying, like, yeah, cop went postal, take that, LAPD.
Yeah.
But really, I think the reality is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
First of all, I was reading about this, and I got into some case files, some open case files, and the shit that the LAPD gets away with is staggering. They just, kill people for fun. And I actually found a statistic, and this isn't just the LAPD, in the United States, and I think this statistic is a couple years old, but still, on average, a black person is killed by the police in the United States of America every 36 hours. That's pretty fucking horrible.
That's bad.
There's white people peppered in there every now and then, too. But anyway... so the LAPD sucks, and I was reading. I couldn't give you anything specifically right now, but
they do a lot of bad stuff.
There was a woman who was beaten to death when the cops caught her. She was a drug addict, and she tried to abandon her kids at a police station because she couldn't take care of them, and she tried to leave them there and split and be like, put them in an adoption agency. I don't know. I gotta go fucking die of drugs alone, which I guess is the right thing to do. I don't know. But she was trying anyway, and the cops just beat her to death.
They also severely beat Rodney King and started the LA riots.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that. We all know Rodney King.
Anyway, so this dude, Christopher Dorner...
who was an ex-Marine, very decently well-decorated guy, not like a war hero or anything, but like a well-respected dude, and then went to the LAPD and had made many complaints against his coworkers for rotten shit that they'd done to people.
And was shot down for all of them.
Yep. And finally...
then got fired, and then got discharged.
Then wrote a manifesto, a very well-written, eloquent manifesto. There's some run-on sentences. Wouldn't be an A+ paper. I read the whole thing.
Let's just say he's obviously a educated man.
It's focused and coherent and, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mostly coherent. I read it too. It's mostly coherent. But
that's not articulate is what it is.
It is articulate. But he wrote this thing actually recently because, in it says, hey, I did these things already.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he wrote this thing, and that's what's really interesting about the story. Like, they're on this manhunt for him. He's killed people, which is just no good. He shouldn't have killed people.
He killed, I believe, the girlfriend of...
The
daughter of a cop who he was trying to get revenge on, and her boyfriend, that's where this gets shitty, is that there are these bystanders involved, but, kind of, what do you want? This guy, you drove him nuts. It's plain and simple.
And he talks about that in the manifesto, take my brain and see what the past 4 years of depression has done to it. That's what he said.
No, go ahead. Well, just one really interesting thing that I said, if let's count this guy for the time being. Let's call him a serial killer. Just he's not because he hasn't done it in series yet. But anyway,
he plans to be potential serial killer.
Anyway, of serial killers and people who shoot up schools and all that stuff. And this was something I read, and I can't remember her name, but this isn't coming out of my head. But basically, every time shit like that happens, people say, why? Like, why would you do this? Like, what would drive a person to do this? And this guy fucking wrote a manifesto and was like, this is why I went nuts and started killing people.
Yeah.
And people are completely writing it off. As just like, he's just crazy. And it's like, no. Like, he's completely self-aware of his own fucking
he
madness.
knows exactly what he's doing. He has been a cop and a Marine for a long time, and since the mid-'90s, and he explains in full technical detail all the steps he's going to take to get back at these people, all the different things he's going to do, all the different ways they should be tracking him, but how those things will fail, all the different weapons he's going to use. This is all super premeditated. Like, he's like, this is how I'm going to find out where your kids go to school. This is how I'm going to find them. This is how I'm going to, like, follow them. This is what I'm going to, like, really, really premeditated stuff. So he is telling us everything that he's going to do and saying, you're not going to be able to find me. But it's like, what people aren't realizing is that, this is the one time when that person that shoots up all those people is telling us exactly what they're doing. So maybe, maybe what you're saying is, like, let's take a second look at all those other potentially crazy people. We write these people off as just, like, insane people that want to kill a lot of people. And often they are crazy. Like, this dude, you can tell from the manifesto, he's a little crazy, too. He's gone off the edge.
Crazy is like, clearly this dude snapped.
Yeah.
But it's not like, he was just wired back.
No, that happened.
No. And here, it's all on paper now.
Anyway, what's interesting for me is, like, I read the manifesto and, like, again, he's done bad stuff and, like, all that. But the manifesto is really interesting to read. And kind of something that's really important to read. And what I couldn't get past is how honest it all sounded. When he was, like, recounting the history of everything, why he's doing all this stuff, all the stuff that happened when he was in the LAPD and stuff like that. That was all really interesting, and I couldn't not believe that. And it's sort of this weird mix of, like, is he justified, but also, like, he clearly shouldn't be doing these things.
Yeah.
He's, like, being highly hypocritical, but then he's admitting his hypocrisy. It's, like, this really weird, like, case.
I also want to add that the LAPD, in searching for Christopher Dorner, have fired on more people than he has fired on himself.
For that. I couldn't find that, dude.
And of course you couldn't find it. They've killed 2 people, 2 innocent people, because they were in this, there was 2 women delivering newspapers who were in a similar-looking car to his. Cops saw it and just loaded the car up and didn't even check who was in it and killed 2 women.
Because they're terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, because they're terrified, because he says, hey, if you're a cop and I see you, I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Like, they're all on edge. And that doesn't excuse them. But still, that's why that happened. Anyway, the other very interesting thing is that this is such a big deal that they've actually deployed stealth drones, drone planes, to find this dude. Like, unmanned fighter drones to look for this guy while he's hiding out in the hills in Southern California because they can't search for him on foot. And this is the first time that the U.S. drones have been used on U.S. soil. So that was really interesting. I thought that was...
I'm shaking a little. I need to stop drinking Dr. Pepper.
Get the shakes, man.
Stop
grinding my teeth!
Between being a little cold and having too much caffeine in me too late at night, I'm kind of spazzing out.
Anyway, so that's happening. If you can, go read the manifesto because it's really interesting. Parts of it are hilarious. Like, he just, like, talks about all the different movies he can't wait to see, and he, like, thanks a bunch of celebrities for being really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, some things he says are just, like, actually, like, he makes some really funny jokes.
The first thing I actually ever heard about this was that he praises Charlie Sheen in this. And Charlie Sheen then issued a formal announcement that he would, if Christopher Dorner came to him, he was like, I will help you. I will hide you and like help you get through this.
And now the cops are sitting outside Charlie Sheen's house.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, for all the horrible shit Charlie Sheen's done, I'm pretty sure he's awesome.
I do not think he's awesome.
I think he's
a trashy bloodhead.
Oh, he is.
I do not like him for any reason.
I don't know. I can't make up my mind if he's like the best or worst person. Like, I totally don't know.
I like him in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Why don't you go stick your thumb up your butt? You know, like I like him in Ferris Bueller.
I think it's kind of funny that is that character he like became in real life.
Yeah.
He's now just the
Sticking his thumb up his butt.
from Ferris Bueller. Anyway,
moving on.
Let's go to outer space.
No, local nudes.
Local nudes. Oh, I just wanted to say, it doesn't fucking matter because there's one person watching, but we have an open mic on Friday. In case that one person is my girlfriend, I won't be calling you till late on Friday. And then immediately after that, actually, we're leaving at like 5 the next morning, probably not sleeping, to go down to Washington D.C. For action against the XL pipeline that are drilling the tar sands in Canada. That's
a big rally.
Same thing. Last time I was in Washington D.C. was on Base Quest. Before that, last time I was at a rally in Washington D.C. It's the same pipeline. We got it delayed a number of months for that, and now this rally is a 350 and Bill McKibben 350 and. The first time I ever heard it, someone was saying 350, and that just stuck in my brain.
Weird.
Anyway, Bill McKibben's heading it off again, and he's the man. And it's going to be like twice as big as the last one. They're thinking like
awesome,
maybe 20,000 people, and it's going to be really cool. And we're going to that with Melodigo in the van. And then also with Melodigo, not in a van.
We're going to go bust up some...
Rainforest Action Network is running a campaign now where they are infiltrating Bank of America recruitment centers on college campuses and going in and saying, hey, Bank of America potential customer, I know that they have this big green initiative, but they're actually the top funders of the fossil fuel industry, in the country, and the top funders, or maybe not the top, but one of the top, and absolutely the top funder of mountaintop removal, which they literally explode mountains to get the coal out of them, like the whole top half of it.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go break up some junk and put some people's faces on our cameras.
Yeah, we're gonna cause civil unrest at MIT tomorrow. So that's stuff that's going on now.
Get ready, Mitt.
It's Ran goes to Mitt. Just cool shit going crazy. Also, I haven't decided whether it's a horrible idea for me to go down to Vassar College.
No, we're doing it.
To fuck with the what do you call it?
The Westboro Baptist Church. This has been all over the place. Everybody's posting about this. I saw like 4 different people post about this.
That's the thing.
Oh, they're going to be at Vassar.
The people at Vassar, I was reading some of the stuff that they're planning to do as a counter-protest. And it's way funnier than...
It's going to be awesome.
I just go and I'd get arrested. I shouldn't go.
No, we're going.
Okay.
We're absolutely going.
But anyway, that's...
I fully plan on taking pictures of you getting put in the freaking cop car.
Okay, we'll see how that goes.
With your pants down and poop coming out of your butt.
Someone also recently, I didn't even mention, one of the more high-level planners of the, what do you call it? The Westboro Baptist Church, who is the niece of, like, the absolute top leader.
I don't know. Some niece of one of the big guys.
Yeah, and she was a big girl herself, and she basically defected and has now been completely ostracized by the church, and they're like, we don't want you around anymore. And she's like, okay, that's cool. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
And she has denounced the Westboro Baptist Church, realizing that they are pricks. So that's cool. Dissemination in the ranks. We like it.
Disseminate!
So basically, there's just more and more crazy shit. It's been now over a year, about a year and a half since Occupy, and I think that mentality has sunk in the way that people hoped it would. As soon as rational people started realizing that Occupy wasn't going to solve anything in and of itself, and it was basically just kind of this, it was a call to arms, ultimately.
Yeah.
It ended up just being people becoming aware that there is this movement going on. This kind of ill-defined, but very nonetheless important movement. And now it's picking back up again a year and a half later, and it's awesome.
I want to talk about some scary news real quick. Not to interrupt, but I want to talk about some scary breaking news, if you will. This is our first breaking news on McCracken at Midnight. North Korea seems to have done its first nuclear bomb test.
Look at Kim Jong-un. What the fuck is his deal?
I know, look at him.
All right,
North Korea is suspected of conducting a nuclear test, several nations say, after an earthquake that monitors said had explosion-like qualities. So it could have been just an earthquake, but nobody else felt the earthquake, whereas the tidal waves in Japan, you know? So, yeah, it seems like they've tested a nuclear bomb in North Korea.
Didn't North Korea
just in the past half hour?
Didn't North Korea? Weren't they like we kind of give up recently too?
No.
What did they do recently? They
sent a satellite into space.
They sent a satellite and then it fucking crashed because they suck. And then
they sent another one and it stayed up there.
And then they did something along the lines of. I thought they said, like, yeah, we're going to open up talks with South Korea. Recently.
Yeah, they did say that.
Yeah. Did that happen? Fucking North Korea, man.
They're crazy.
If they start a nuclear war, they will lose, and I won't miss them.
They will lose, but also, what if they don't? Oh, look, we just got another viewer.
Oh, cool. Hey, guys.
Maybe they won't. Yeah, no, they'll lose. Anyway, that's breaking news.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Let's talk about some more imminent apocalypse.
Imminent apocalypse? Oh, let's jump right into space. Hey, who knows Bill Nye the Science Guy? He was Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill.
And then he became the commentator on BattleBots, and now he runs a...
And also, he was always Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah. And now, what does he do? He runs...
Right now, his current job is he's the CEO of an organization called... oh, crap, what are they called? The...
Space Patrol or something?
Planetary Society.
Planetary
Society.
I just want to stop you real quick. That is the coolest career track ever.
Yeah.
It's like, a kids' science show, robot fight commentator, Planetary Society CEO.
Yeah. But anyway, he's CEO of a planetary society. You should go check out their website, planetarysociety.com, because it's really cool. I just became a member of the society today. I'll get my Dakota ring in the mail eventually. But anyway, we get one of the things that they do there. They do a lot of building. What's the word? Developing new space projects. So one of the big things they're working on is the capsule that they can send to Mars. It'll pick up Mars dust and rocks and then shoot itself back.
So
to Earth.
They can't actually do any of this stuff though, are they? It's like they come up with good ideas.
They're development,
and they give them to NASA.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're a non-profit organization, so they're all developing. But so they do a lot of developing, and they also do a lot of outer space tracking. So they have a huge network of amateur to professional astronomers. Tracking different objects in space. One of the big things they do is track near-Earth asteroids, and we get near-Earth asteroid misses all the time.
A lot more than you'd think.
And granted, they're very far away. Usually, they're outside of the moon's orbit. They're that far away, but that's still kind of close. But space is really big. But I watched a video today, and I should have downloaded this video because it's hilarious. It's basically Bill Nye doing an interview on an LA News television show, LA News, and she's talking about, they're talking about near-Earth asteroid, and he's like, yeah, actually, he starts talking about it, and he starts kind of rambling a little bit, as if he's really worried. And he's like, yeah, we're going to have a near-Earth asteroid miss this Friday on the 15th, or whenever the 15th is. Yeah, Friday. And it's going to miss us by 15 minutes. And she's like, well, okay, but let's not cause a panic. And he's like, no, well, actually, maybe not about this one, but we should be panicking about asteroids. But in any case, this one that he's talking about that's going to pass us this Friday is only missing us by 15 minutes.
That means...
If we had been 15 minutes in the other direction of Earth's orbit, we get smack hit with a freaking asteroid the size of Dallas.
Let's not get...
Bigger than Dallas.
Let's
the size of Rhode Island.
Compare oranges to parsecs here. 15 minutes as in it will be in the place where we had been 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, again, is still probably pretty far. Because we're going pretty fast. We're going really fast around the sun. But, yeah, 15 minutes ago, we would have gotten hit by an asteroid. And so Brian believes that they did their math wrong, and we're
we're
just
all
going to
gonna die.
Hit by an
That
asteroid.
is my theory. I think it's almost definite, as a matter of fact. I can't do math very well, so no one else can.
It's really exciting. I can't wait. I hope it hits us. No, I don't. That's a lie.
We'll see what happens. Yeah,
Anyway.
that's the kind of shit I'd say. Come on, what the hell?
I mean, it'd just be cool. Anyway, check out that website. Bill Nye's a really cool guy, and his name rhymes a lot of things, like pie
And Sky
and try
and Steve Vai.
thigh. Anyway, yeah,
It
get ready for
it
asteroids.
almost rhymes if you pronounce it weirdly. If you pronounce it as SETI with SETI. And we're going to talk about SETI now.
Yeah, so we also have two really awesome things happening
Yep.
about space. One of them is that SETI, which is the
Space
crap, I can't
Eliminator
remember
Triton
what it stands for.
Infiltrator.
The SETI telescope is wow,
It's
I
a
really should.
telescope array.
It's an array.
Like one of those big things like from Contact with the bunch of
One of the big things from
with
Contact.
the dishes.
I'm
Radio
pretty sure
telescope.
that one is SETI.
Radio telescope array.
Yeah, yeah. Stop! Oh my God! Look at my computer; it's freaking out.
SETI has been set to specifically find life elsewhere in the universe. Now, is that on planets or is that in flying around? Is that looking
No,
for
it's just-
signals
it's
or is it
looking
looking
for-
for life applicable chemicals?
It's looking for. I don't know. Let me find it. Sorry,
It's looking for aliens.
my computer's
basically.
totally freaking out. Right now.
Again, like in Contact.
Yeah, just like in Contact. What's her face is sitting there with the headphones, and she's gonna hear. See, there's the picture right there.
Oh, they're way ahead
She's
of
gonna
us, aren't
use the
they?
extra bleep. Anyway, yeah, they're just looking for signals. They're looking for signals coming from outer space that aren't the normal things being emitted by stars and bursts and the galaxy. You know, there's tons of X-rays and UV rays and gamma rays and infrared rays that all have frequencies and all can be heard on the headset with the right equipment. They're all detected by this giant radio array, telescopic array. So they're looking for things that
like sportscasts. and
Yeah, like
shit
sportscasts.
that.
so yeah, they're looking for outer
and,
space sportscasts.
Rogue
Storm
phone
cow.
sex signals.
Yeah,
Just spinning through the cosmos.
yeah.
By
Um,
aliens, by horny aliens.
But this is the first time that they're actually looking for extraterrestrial signals. Instead of, they're always pointing it at the sky, they're always hearing a lot of different stuff, but now they're
cool.
looking for it. They're specifically looking for that, which is pretty cool. Because it's like, I read a lot of stuff about NASA today, actually, and, their budget from the government is something like $1.1 billion a year or something like that, which is not a lot. That's very
For
little.
Sending shit to outer space.
Yeah,
That's
very little, and they do a lot with that tiny budget. But I read that they did a poll of 1,101 Americans, and a lot of these people, like the majority, something like 75% of these people, thought that the NASA received something like 2% of the government's budget, 2.4% of the government's yearly budget, which is absolutely not true. They receive it's like 0.09%, 0.9% of the government's budget. And they also think that NASA is going to be sending people to Mars in the next 2 decades, which is false.
yeah.
So
Bill Nye is.
Bill Nye is definitely sending people to...
He's much more interested in that.
Yeah, but
no,
I just think it's so interesting that all these people from NASA, all these people, are like really... I lost my train of thought.
People are misled about what NASA is
Thank you.
doing and how much support they get from the government. Now, I thought NASA was private now. When didn't we?
No,
make a
it's
thing on
not
this?
private. It's just the space shuttle program stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
That's kind of privatized now. But the point that I was trying to get to, thank you for reminding me, the point that I was trying to get to was that a lot of people are misinformed about what NASA is doing. But the other thing that the poll showed was that everybody's still super excited about what they are doing. Everybody's really excited about all the potential that NASA has. Everybody's really excited about the prospect of discovery of outer space and exploration of outer space. So, there's support is there, it's just there's no money.
Now, here's the thing. We were talking a couple of months ago. We were watching videos from the 60s, and we're like, why aren't people this excited about space anymore? I feel like with all the recent things that have happened, people are getting excited about it.
Definitely.
And I think the fact that we've been reporting on it has had a huge impact. I think
just us.
We have rekindled the interest in outer space.
You're welcome, NASA.
In 100 years, when people will look in the history books, it'll say people had pretty much given up on the space race and on celestial exploration until Sam McCracken and Brian Fitzgerald
who became kings of the solar system.
Who fused at the hip, became
the first conjoined twins.
The first conjoined twins of England, and then went to war with each other. I became king of Scotland. We killed each other, and they found our bones 400 years later.
I don't want to be king of England. Boring.
You want to trade?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the war is over.
Anyway. So yeah, NASA.
Oh, he was a pope at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I was also the pope. After I was already the president. I was president, and then I was pope, and then we conjoined, and I became king of England or Scotland.
I don't know how it works.
I got a good resume. A good future resume. Space pope.
Yeah. That's how you became Space Pope. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
It all makes sense. Okay. Anyway, and then the other really cool thing that happened in space. This follows a couple of cool little things. William Shatner tweeted at somebody on the International Space Station, and they tweeted back in Star Trek lingo. And then William Shatner talked to one of the dudes that was on the International Space Station, and now
the International Space Station. Yeah, basically they're always doing cool things. Yeah. But recently they had the first via satellite. Inter-celestial body jam session.
Yeah.
Where a musician who's apparently recording an album.
In space?
I think he might be recording it in space. Who is working on the International Space Station. Had a jam with the dude from the Bare Naked Ladies, and they played a Bare Naked Ladies song.
Did they play the Big Bang Theory song?
I think they might have. They were talking about outer space in it. Which I think
it was probably the Big Bang Theory song.
Yeah,
because Bare Naked Ladies did that.
Yeah, so that's what
BNL.
Who? What'd they do?
This theme song from the Big Bang.
Oh no, it wasn't that. It was like a kind of. It wasn't a very good song. That's the only shitty thing. They could have played like that fucking hit that they had. What was the one? Or they could have played that. They could have played something cool, but they played this wussy poppy new song that I really wasn't into, and they had some high school choir singing it, which was cool. I mean, it was nice, but I don't know.
It was okay, but I was like, blah.
Whatever. The point is, it doesn't matter. They could have played friggin' like Mary Had a Little Lamb. They jammed via satellite between two separate orbiting bodies in space, and that's cool.
They could have played Space Oddity.
They should have played Space Oddity.
Like, what the hell?
They could have played.
It's got some funky chords in it, though, so it may have been too hard for the guy from Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah. They could have played. What else could they have played?
Boy, they could have played.
What other songs about space are they? Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. They could have played Rocket Man. They could have played. Other stuff.
I think they should have played Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft by Klaatu. That would have been good. It's an awesome song.
I believe you.
Klaatu's the Beatles, by the way. Moving on.
Other cool space stuff. Just constantly Google like NASA and space because their
stuff is always happening.
Always doing cool stuff. I just read an article about how the most perfect spheres have been created. The most perfect ever man-made spheres have been made out of crystal, and they're sending these things into space to study how when things orbit, how they lose time, like because we're in like a gravity well, how that affects the position of them as they orbit once around the Earth. So they're spinning inside the space station as the space station is going around the Earth, and they actually like don't stay stationary, even though they are in geosynchronous orbit. They don't stay stationary. The axis will tilt because of like the temporal disturbance that's happening because of the gravity well the Earth's creating. It's like crazy stuff is happening. It's really cool.
Okay. That is cool. I have some cool stuff about astrology. I have a new theory about astrology.
Nice.
You know what? We have time. I'm going to throw this out tonight.
Ooh, chilly.
Check this out. Now, it's pretty well... It's kind of in the realm of pseudoscience almost, but it's pretty well accepted that the moon affects human behavior.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, it's because of gravity pulling on water in your brain. People aren't really sure, but it happens. Now, astrology...
Blood tides.
It would be not very scientific of me to believe that...
Because you're so scientific all the time.
That a constellation has some kind of magic fucking power that dictates what's happening on the Earth.
It does.
Or at that point. Oh, but it does.
Orion's belt, this middle star, just shoots star semen out of it all the time.
Check this out. But what is actually being measured by the astrological calendar is what's called the Great Year. Now...
And by the astrological calendar, you mean
a full rotation.
Of our main constellations.
When you enter the age of Leo, which is
month of Leo.
No, we're talking long term.
Oh, okay.
The age of Leo, which is a couple thousand years long.
How does that track?
What it works is when the sunrise on the summer solstice is in front of the Leo constellation, you're in the age of Leo. And then eventually it'll rotate and you'll be on the next constellation. And that's like 2,000 or something years apart. And a full cycle, one Leo to one Leo, is 26,000 years.
Right? Well, that doesn't seem right, but okay.
It is. So, but now what that's measuring is, because we're going around the sun and we're spinning on this axis, but that axis is tilting too. We're going like this, like a top falling over. So one full rotation of that is 26,000 years, and that's what makes the constellation.
I see. That's called what's that called?
It's called a great year, is what it's called in astrological terms.
The wobble.
Anyway, so
from my high school astronomy.
If you look at the astrological calendar, is divided into golden ages and silver ages and bronze ages.
Like comic books.
Golden age is cool. Like, at the height of the...
Superman.
Leo, shift to age of Leo is at the height of the Golden Age. And then the opposite of that, you go through a Silver Age, and then to a Bronze Age, and then to an Iron Age. And the Iron Age is the opposite. That's when everything sucks.
Oh.
And actually, what was being measured by the Mayan, the 2012 apocalypse that they were saying, they were measuring the same great year.
I'm still waiting.
They were measuring the same great year the Mayans were as Western and Far Eastern astrology was, you know. But they obviously their beginning and end points were different because they were measuring it differently. So what they actually December 21st, 2012 was the height, the peak day of the Iron Age when everything is at its absolute worst, which makes perfect sense in my mind, given what's going on the planet right now. And I forget what age that lines up with. But anyway, that's what that was. And the way I look at it, if the moon can affect your behavior, you know, gravity is tilting and bodies are pulling on each other, and your brain is just more matter.
Yeah.
The laws of physics don't care if you're thinking with it. They just yank on it. So why can't that tilt of the Earth axis reposition things to make people behave differently?
Because it doesn't... Okay, because this chair just broke.
Careful.
Because it wobbles once every like 100,000. What is it? 260,000 years or whatever.
Yeah.
26,000 years. Because that wobble is extremely, extremely slow.
Yeah, it's extremely slow. But when we're in one position, people are just a little bit meaner to each other, just because of the way celestial bodies are arranged and affecting the friggin' matter in your brain. So for this long period of time, the same way that the moon is affecting people's behavior short term, position of the Earth is affecting people's behavior long term, giving you golden ages where people are very cool and iron ages where people totally fucking suck.
Okay, but hang on. The way you're describing this,
yeah,
every 26,000 years we have whatever. Let's just say 3 for the sake of right now. We have a golden age, a silver age, and an iron age, whatever.
Yeah.
So if we're going to divide 26,000 years by 3, that's what's that? 8. Let's just 8. 8 bit. 8. Let's just say 8. That's 8,000 years.
Yeah.
So since, I mean, not recorded history, but since, you know, we can, I don't know how far astrology goes back, but there's probably very little recorded history of the great age before the one we're in now.
Well,
as in, how are we supposed to track if human behavior is actually different? Also, we're at the height of the Iron Age, so I guess it is 4,000 years, but still.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This kind of is used a lot by alternative historians who believe that human civilization is much, much, much older than is currently believed.
Hundreds of thousands of years old.
Yeah, and I heard, and I got to look this up somewhere, and I think it might be bullshit, but I got to look into it, that there's evidence of human being is as long as 2 million years ago now. Like modern humans, for the most part. And I don't know about that. But anyway, one of the ways that they've measured this is about the way that the Sphinx lines up, and he's looking at the where the age of at the sunset and on the solstice, Leo would be rising there, and other the pyramids are lined up where Orion's belt would be if he was the heart of Leo at that point, and that obviously that happened 26,000 years ago. But at that point, that part of the desert was underneath a fucking glacier. So if they actually built it there, it would have been 46,000 years ago. And there's geologists who have been saying, I've looked at the limestone wear on the Sphinx ditch, and it could honestly be 46,000 years old. And I mean, it's all madness. But I mean, not madness as in, oh, that's madness. That's just plain wrong. But it's all weird shit, and it's really interesting.
I believe very little of this. It's all very up in the air and hard to believe. And it is history that is generally unrecorded.
It is up in the air and hard to believe. That doesn't mean... Believe is a shitty word to use in science. It's
faith.
hard
I don't have faith in this science.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, I don't believe it, but it's... You put this evidence out there, and you're like, that is not invalid to me, you know, just simply because it disputes what's in the textbook. I gotta pee really bad. Talk about Vine.
Wait, we got 10 minutes left, dude.
I gotta pee so fucking bad. Talk about Vine.
You have to pee. You peed like half an hour ago. Yeah, so we have tech talks before we finish. We only got 10 minutes left. We talked a lot about this, about a lot of stuff on this show. You guys just want to watch me chug Dr. Pepper until Brad gets back? That'd be hilarious. Anyway, we have some stuff on Tech Talks tonight. First of all, I posted this, and then a lot of people shared this on Facebook earlier today. But there's a new book out by a woman named Susan Crawford, who has become one of the leading experts in the internet and technology and how it's affecting society in America and globally, but generally she seems to focus on America. But she has a new book out called Captive Audience, The Telecom Industry and Monopoly Power in the New Gilded Age. This book apparently is very interesting. I'm going to get it and read it. But she did an interview with Bill Moyers, and she used to be, another awesome qualification, used to be a special assistant to Obama for science, technology, and innovation. But anyway, she had an interview with Bill Moyers because she was a special assistant. No, listen to this. This is the thing you care about.
I do.
So she had this interview with Bill Moyers where she talked about her book. And basically, I watched the interview. You should watch it. It's very interesting. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere right now. It's like, it's 25 minutes long. It's half an hour long. But basically, she just talked about why we are paying so much for internet and getting so little back. She gives the example that people in China pay about $30 for internet that is so much faster than what we get. And it's just because of the structure that these different, telecommunication giants have built with each other. These agreements that they've made, these different, the regioning that they've done so that they don't bother each other, and they're exploiting, our need for this information sharing and making a lot of money off of it. She talked about in their interview kids, an article that just came out in the Wall Street Journal. Kids that have to go to McDonald's to do their homework, so they can get internet at McDonald's to do their homework in New York City because they don't have internet because they can't afford internet at home. And she talks about how internet at this point is a utility that people should have. It's a utility that should be provided to people for a much cheaper price, just like water and electricity, which the way those work is, their prices come from, the need of the people, and it's all based on the need of society. It's all based on the society that these companies exist in. Whereas Verizon and Comcast, besides the vertical integration they're using so that they can limit the information that's coming into you if you buy their service, they're also completely taking advantage of the lack of regulation and law that their companies are built on and that are coming from the federal government, and they can just exploit our need for the internet and charge us a buttload of money. And the only reason they're charging us a buttload of money is because they have a really good business model, and that's what they do. They're not trying to intentionally be like, hey, let's not give them internet. They're just trying to make money because that's what they do. That's their business. Comcast is one of the biggest businesses now because they're so good at what they do. But go check this interview out.
This is why capitalism sucks.
Well, okay, but I mean, yeah, it's not capitalism. It's just big business. But
which is
no.
Yeah.
But this is very similar to what was happening at the turn of the century with oil and railroads and all that stuff. It's just
when
funny
capitalism was too much. When there was too much capitalism.
Yeah.
You're gonna start labor unions.
They already have labor unions. When they started labor unions. But yeah, anyway, so it's just funny how things haven't really changed in 100 years. But go check this interview out. It's really interesting. It's important stuff for everyone to know. I'm going to read the book.
Information wants to be free. And in this situation, for once, it is free as in free beer, not free as in free speech. It wants to be both. And as a matter of fact,
but it's not,
speech and beer both want to be free too.
No, but you missed most of it. And it's not that at all.
Yes, it is. Everything's that.
Okay, but it's not. This isn't that. This is different.
Okay.
This isn't about free stuff. We're still going to have to pay for internet no matter what because it's a service that costs money.
Information wants to be closer to being free.
I mean, water should be free too, but somebody has to maintain the pumps. You know what I mean? It's like that sort of thing.
The government can do it.
The government needs the money too, and instead of paying lots of taxes, we pay $20 a month.
How about instead of fucking going to war with countries that we have nothing to do with?
That's a whole
How about instead of buying tanks for Israel, we buy water for Americans?
You're getting off the topic.
It's all the same thing. This is whole systems, man.
We're talking about this right now.
But this is everything.
You can't come into a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and say, but lettuce should be on every sandwich. You can't do that.
It's completely different.
Lettuce doesn't go. No, that's exactly what you're saying.
No.
It's the same general argument, but right now we're talking about peanut butter and jelly. Anyway, so go check this out. Buy the book and read it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be really interesting.
What's the book called again?
It's called The Telecom Captive Audience, the Telecom Industry and Monopoly Power in the New Gilded Age by Susan Crawford. She's really, really cool. There's a petition on the White House petition site
to make her king of the internet.
To make her
queen. Pardon me.
To make her the chairman, whatever it's called, of the Federal Communications Committee, the FCC. Because she has a lot of cool ideas.
Dude, I'd love that because the FCC is my dick right now, and she's really cool.
And you want her to be chairman of your dick?
Boom!
Anyway, one more thing. Go to VinePeak.com and watch that for hours. Twitter released a new service a week and a half ago where people can
if it wasn't manic enough.
I know. People can now, you can on your phone, I think it's only for iPhone right now, but you can download the app and record a 6 seconds of video, and it doesn't have to be consecutive, so you can take a second here and a second there, and then upload this to Vine/Twitter. And it's just 6 seconds of video, and I've been messing around with it, and it's really hard to use that 6 seconds advantageely. It's surprisingly difficult. Well, it's a good amount of time, but it's really hard to use it.
Here's the cool thing about Vine that I'm finding is that here's the thing: is this thing Vine Peak?
Vine Peak. So yeah, this is why this is so interesting. Vine, besides it being like this cool, I think it's a really cool idea. 6 seconds posts of video because you can post lots of pictures, you can record a video and wait for it to upload to YouTube. But now it's just 6 second repeating clips, almost like GIFs. But anyway, what's cool about this, these other people built VinePeak.com, which is basically It's they built a website that pulls random new vines that have been posted, uploaded by people, and just plays them continuously. So you'll see a 6-second clip of a cat, immediately followed by someone just uploaded a 6-second clip of people playing basketball, and you'll see something totally different. And it just plays forever. And I've literally watched this for hours at a time.
What's really interesting to me about this is that 6 seconds, I mean, someone will find a way to use this. And as soon as we told our angry political correspondent Mark Schwaller about this, he was like, how can I use this to fuck with capitalism? And which is totally I'm right there with him with that. But the way I look at it, there's really 6 seconds is just barely not long enough to say anything important.
Yeah.
So
it's like enough time for a reaction to something.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's enough time for. It's enough time for some accident to happen. Like it's that amount of time.
So basically, when you're watching Vine peak, and it's new stuff. That's the important. So it's basically you're watching this stuff, and people upload right from their phones.
Yeah.
So you're watching this stuff from all over the planet, basically as it's happening.
Yeah, 10 seconds delayed, basically.
Yeah, and
from all over the world.
So you sit and watch Vine peak, and you're watching all of the useless shit that's happening on the planet at that moment.
It's awesome.
It's like, you're sitting there, and it's like people in clubs, and people like at parties, and people's babies, and people's cats, and occasionally people jerking off.
Yeah.
People just like hanging out with their friends and goofing off, and just like stupid shit.
It's
like whatever people, and it's just like, this is what. It's just fascinating that, like, this is the stupid shit. This is Earth's stupid shit right here. You're seeing all of Earth's stupid shit.
But it's so cool. But that's the thing. It's not just stupid shit anymore. Like, it's like this whole new way to share, like, these moments. Because pictures are great. But you can only take, like, so many pictures. Or you could do a minute of video and upload that to YouTube and then send people the link. But this just, like, Twitter is just taking it to a whole new level. It's really, really cool. So it's 1 a.m. We don't have any commenters tonight. If you guys want to comment, we can sing some comments for like 10 seconds. You want to just do just what's there right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half of them are ours. But hey, what up, cuz? That's me. Hello, every person. Fuck. There you go.
All right.
I think in nights like tonight we should take something relevant to the show and sing it instead of comments.
Okay. Let's find some Pope junk.
Pope junk. Well, no, I think that's good. I like what we did tonight, but I almost regret not singing Robert Dorner's Manifesto.
Well, it's very long.
But I think we're done for tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Be sure to tune in next week. We're gonna have. News of Dissent, recaps of Dissent,
all the Dissent, and I'll be really fucking tired because we're.
I will also.
Okay,
be tired.
here's what's gonna happen this weekend. Performing at the open mic, leaving at going to be here till 2, leaving at 5 the next morning, traveling DC, protesting, having to sleep on the floor of a van. And then coming home, getting home at 5 in the morning on Monday.
No, I thought we were leaving Monday morning at 5 a.m.
What? I don't know, but whatever. I have to then come back without sleeping, go to class on Monday all day, and then come here and do a show until 1 a.m.
Yes!
Yes! And Magic Mondays is in there too.
Magic Monday! Okay, but good night, everybody.
Good night.